wanna do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you wanna do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Come?
Alright, I'll do my own bits myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it. Get off the road.
Hey Dave,
Yes, Boater.
what is the name of the game where Pokemon number 53 performs acrobatic feats in a desert setting?
50. What is it?
Prince of Persian.
Okay.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. I'm Boater.
I'm Dave Man.
And we've got, it's a slower week for us here. You know, we don't have E3 behind us like we did last week, but we still found plenty of stuff to talk about because God put the two of us in a room together.
Slow, he says. Slow, he says. Wait until you hear all of the stuff that's been going on. Welcome, Vladdy.
To be fair, although I didn't find a great number of items, I did find great quality of items, and that's almost better.
Then I think you're going to absolutely love the things that I have because it's in some of the topics that we have discussed
Oh yeah,
to great length. And
I've got 2 or 3 follow-ups.
although
myself.
at
It's
the
great.
top of the show, have to admit, no legal jargon this week, as a direct story. We may get into it, but that's how we usually roll here. We keep it nice and loosey-goosey, but
Speaking of loosey-goosey and rules and such, let's get into Twitch bans and people who look at the rules and say, yeah, they'll play a little loosey-goosey with them.
except for me.
Yeah, we've heard both of these names on Banned from Twitch before on the Nerd Glasses podcast, and that is Amaranth and IndieFox. Both of them received temporary bans, although in at least IndieFox's case, I'm pretty sure this is her third within 3 months, so I don't know why she's not just... for what is referred to as ear lick streaming. Basically taking either a regular microphone or a binaural microphone, which is shaped like an ear, which is meant to mimic how your ear actually hears noises and to reproduce that, and doing an ASMR style thing, but going beyond slightly sexy with it, and going straight up into this is sexual content, especially when they're doing so lying down on the bed in yoga pants that are very form-fitting and and this, so they receive bans for just basically flaunting all the rules of sexuality on Twitch. The ASMR community is, I've heard creators, actually, this is the first time in reading about this that I've heard creators of ASMR content referred to as ASM artists. I kind of like it.
Good
it's a
for
little,
you.
It's a little on the cute
Good
side.
for you,
It's a
ASMR.
yeah, it's a little on the cute side, but you know, I'm not to judge. It's not bad. Who are just like ASMR as a phenomenon has always been stigmatized as being something. Oh, well, that's something sexual, isn't it? It's like no. Like there's ASMR as like a medical response condition, whatever, and then and for many reasons I'm not going to demonstrate, there's me getting right up in your ear and saying sexy things and licking and stuff. We're not doing that. And clearly the discretion wasn't there, so goodbye Amaranth and IndieFox. Both just blatantly over the line of what's acceptable in terms of use. So get in OnlyFans already. Come on. We know that's what you're angling for. You're waiting for the permaban so that you can angle it for leverage into OnlyFans. Just get out. We have enough problems on Twitch without that. That's banned on Twitch this week, Dave.
So Boder and I were exchanging notes before the program started, and I remarked about what of the ungodly amount of games that are coming out in the next 7 days do we talk about? And so I'm very sorry, but I got three things: two games and an expansion pass that I'm
Okay.
very excited about. So I'll get over with the expansion pass. We already talked about it last week when we were talking about E3. Sea of Thieves: A Pirate's Life, the Pirates of the Caribbean crossover, is live actually right now. People are downloading
Right
it.
now.
The patch is, and Boder's off to go on his own shanty adventures. But we're I'm looking greatly forward to streaming that tomorrow on the weekend Wednesday. Mr. Manbeard will be returning, and I have roped my brother-in-law to be here in studio. So the infamous Captain Chad will be here in studio, and he's going to show off some of his, being that he is a big Sea of Thieves fan, some of his Sea of Thieves collectibles that he has gotten over the years for his collection and things like that. But it is free $99 for those of you out there who are on the fence about it. You buy the game, which is actually on sale on many different consoles. It is cross-platform, being that it is only on Microsoft, Windows, and Xbox. And you can start the new cinematic adventure, as it called, featuring Jack Sparrow and many of the other famous characters from the franchise by going to the outposts, as you do for everything else, and speaking to the mysterious new arrival.
Ooh.
Looking forward to getting more into that and all that comes with Sea of Thieves this coming weekend Wednesday. One of the games, and I know I kind of splashed about this last week, but I am going to purchase this one when it's next available for me to purchase. But it is Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, the official video game.
Nice.
These games, to give you an essence, it's Mario Party games, but instead of it being, hey, hold a Zorb in your hand and knock people out of the... No, it's just literally Olympic events that they've listed off. Judo, football, cycling, BMX racing, boxing, beach volleyball, basketball, baseball, 200-meter individual medley swimming, freestyle swimming, the hammer throw, the long jump, on a bunch of track relays, and you use the controls as you would in like Wii Sports or things like that. The hook of this game, first of all, is the fact that it's Tokyo 2020 and it's 2021 because the Olympics were delayed due to COVID.
Yep.
And now we're getting them this year. But the hook is that not only are these mini games generally fun to play, but you can customize your character that plays in these events. You can have all sorts of body types, genders, and then just various ridiculous outfits.
Yep.
Have you
Choosing
ever
what
seen?
team you're competing on? Choosing
Yes, what country you're
representing.
representing.
Yep.
Have you ever seen someone run 100-meter hurdles in a spacesuit? You could. That could be you. It'll probably be me. But I'm looking greatly forward to Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. Check it out. See for yourself. And stop on by and play it with me sometime.
We watched it ourselves, but the trailer for that, and actually just for general, the Olympic games that were coming out in general, including the Mario and Sonic ones, really kind of heartwarming, really cool. I do recommend trying to track down the longer form. I think it was like a 2-minute trailer for the release of those games. The Olympic games did come out in Japan that in 2019, but for the Western world it was delayed until this week. So games that got to the release later, that were brought in like later in the release cycle, are bundled all together for this release, which is kind of
Yes.
nice.
And this Friday, once again, we will be asking ourselves, it's a you? Yes, it is. Hitting the links will be Super Mario Golf Super Rush. They did shave the word super off, but in the releasing. Good job, Nintendo. Mario Golf Super Rush. It's a Mario Golf game. If you haven't played them, they're pretty fun, even if you're not into the game necessarily. The mode that's going to make this awesome, and I wonder if they did, yes, it's called Speed Golf. Players golf simultaneously in a race to complete the hole before their opponents. After each swing, players run across the course towards their ball, take their next shot.
So it's sort of golf with friends.
Mhm.
And the whole running across the course to do the next shot reminds me of nothing other than 100-foot robot golf.
Yep,
Just that sort of very crazy party golf thing. I love it.
It's taking that Mario, the patent and proven Mario party theme in these games, and instead of just being frustrated at your friends in golf, you can finally line drive to the back of your friend's head because they got a better shot than you as they're trying to go get their ball.
Can you assail them with your club on the way to your ball?
Not with the club, but apparently you can add special shots where your characters can hit your opponents and it causes special effects like reversing controls and freezing them to the ground and things like that. That's this Friday, and I personally have budgeted aside to get in on that. What's going on, Mr. Wet? And welcome, More Like Rigor Mortis. Sorry, it was during my segment. You popped in. Mario Golf is going to be amazing, and that is definitely a title I'm going to be grabbing and playing as much as I can of as soon. Do they have Mario Kart-style items to F with people? Yep. Yes, they do. The one that they showed in the previews was Luigi hitting Mario with a ball that then froze him in his entirety, while then Luigi kind of went like, wah! And like ran past to go do his own thing.
So looking at the release this upcoming week, there are definitely a lot of good games. Like I would be hard pressed to, pick a few more. But I will say that what I named my game of the year for 2017, Doki Doki Literature Club, is getting a re-release called Doki Doki Literature Club Plus on Windows, on all major consoles. It does feature new content, a couple new side stories, new music, and a new music player, and new art and stuff. So if you already have the game, it may not necessarily be worth paying full price for, but if you haven't played it before, without spoiling anything, I will say content warning, it deals with a lot of heavy themes for a dating sim. It deals with a lot of heavy themes, period.
And not the ones you're thinking of.
No. But I kind of don't want to spoil it, but ask me about it some other time. But if you haven't played it before and you are fine playing games with heavy themes in them, then I do recommend picking up DDLC Plus. So that's that. I started off.
Hold this. Don't shoot it, because there's only one bullet, and I do not know what that one looks like, but it
Okay.
is an Overwatch one. Hey, Boater.
Hey, Dave.
These weapons are facsimiles of the ones from characters in Overwatch, and a game that I love. I mean, I've got Pops, and I play it every week on stream.
Of course.
But this week, truly, now, it's already who cocks this thing and puts it away?
Why?
There
That's
are
so bad for the springs.
no more excuses, folks.
Okay, good. That one
because
wasn't cocked.
Overwatch crossplay beta is live now. If you have it on Switch, if you have it on PlayStation, if you have it on Xbox, if you have it on PC, you can now play with everyone else. That being said, there's two big caveats. There is no crossplay comp at all. They're not
Okay.
mixing those lobbies.
Okay.
Fair, makes sense.
Yep.
And the other half is if in your party you do not have a PC player, you will not get paired against PC players as a
okay.
console party.
So that's kind of a tacit acknowledgement of, PC playing is generally superior for competition because better
Yes.
control and stuff like that. We're not going to put you up against that if you don't have that. I'm going to do something stupid. Does this even have a dart in it?
Yes.
Are you sure? Okay.
But
I tried to do the best I could without getting right in the line of the barrel.
the crossplay beta is now live. So for everyone who plays on Friday, get on updating your consoles now so we don't have it at 9 o'clock on Friday. Please.
Yeah, right? And I hand this back to you. I wanted to hold this like an actual pistol, but the spur kind of gets in the way. There you are.
Because it's high noon for you excuse makers.
I started off the show tonight with a Pokemon joke, so let's go with talking about Pokemon Go. Niantic announced that they are going to start rolling back some of the changes that they made to the game in the COVID era. like so when COVID hit and it wasn't wise to go out and be right next to a Pokestop when you're spinning it and to be raiding as a group of people all in one spot. They rolled out these things like increase in distance to get to Pokestops. Remote raids have been a big one, although I think they've been monetized, but still, it's a thing. And they are going to start rolling that back, starting in New Zealand and in the U.S. Because New Zealand, especially, is like, yeah, COVID is not a thing here because we properly managed lockdown. And the U.S. is like, it's good enough. We're opening back up too. And the rest of the world goes, okay, and Niantic's like, all right, cool, we'll start rolling back our stuff. So the reason I wanted to talk about that is because a lot of things happening in the U.S. as we go, quote, back to normal, are actually kind of bad for accessibility, like the disabled community. I follow a few people on Twitter that are very much like, yeah, COVID has been great for me because everyone being stuck at home like I am stuck at home because of medical concerns means that the world has started to cater to me. And now with like a farmer's market that is no longer going to be doing like home orders and delivery because people can go in person again is like, well, that sucks for me. And this, like, if maybe if you can get in a car and drive around and spin some Pokestops, but you can't reach nearly as many when they contract the radius that you can reach a Pokestop from.
Yes.
If they get rid of remote raids, like people who are stuck at home can't, hop on Discord with someone who can go to where there's a raid and hop in with them. Um, it's something that they didn't specifically say what they are doing other than the Pokestop radius thing. They just said that they are going to start making some changes in these two markets, but it's something that I'm just very concerned about. That like, hey, Pokemon Go is great for getting people to go outside, whatever, that are fully able-bodied and ready and able to do
Yeah.
so. But there are people who want to play the game that aren't. They are in the minority, but that doesn't mean that they don't deserve to play the game. And changes that have been made have made it easier for them to do so. So that's that.
As somebody that does actively play Pokemon Go, man, was the increased radius convenient. There is, where I live, exactly one Pokestop a mile and a half away from my house, and I was able to spin it from my living room. I
People were
will
saying
say,
that like GPS drift is so bad in the game anyway, you could be standing right next to a Pokestop and it wouldn't register correctly anyway. So
Yes.
it helps a little bit with that.
I will say I do notice that, for example, here right now, wanted to just check this before I start firing from the hip. You still haven't fixed that egg walking thing because I didn't go anywhere. But thanks for the
GPS drift. Hey, good. You got a Bonsley.
But I will say that it is unfortunate that this accessibility is getting rolled back. However, I will say I hope that they roll it back because I used to be able to open up Pokemon Go in the store and hit literally everywhere in the mall standing behind the counter. I can understand frustrations and accessibility especially. But thankfully, a lot of the Pokestops and things that were accessible to begin with are going to become once again now that parks aren't going to be closing at hard closing at dusk and not opening again until like 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And the fact that parks, communities, and things like that are able to get out and maintain trailheads and do these things and create working walking paths and ramps and things like that. As someone that works in the industry, especially, if there is somewhere in your local community that you find inaccessible to you because of a disability or because of the way that it is designed, it may be a lot to do, but in all earnesty, going and talking to a local representative, town hall, sending an email to your town. Hey, I tried playing Pokemon Go in this park and I couldn't get anywhere. I'm, unable to walk or unable to lift, 60 pounds of weight, so I wasn't able to take this particular trail or things like that. You'd be surprised how much and how willing groups and things are now to address these things as opposed to back in the day, which was, everything was a dirty little secret and they'll sweep it under the rug and then not you wouldn't be heard.
I will just say I hope that Niantic keeps some of these changes as like an accessibility option
Yes.
in the game. Like if you want to turn that off so that people use it as an excuse to go out and go walking, then yeah, by all means turn it off and you got to walk up to the stop and you can see that, great. But having it as an option, even if you got to jump through a couple hoops to do it,
Which means
be great.
nobody that plays it will turn it off. As a
right, but
heads
then
up.
still ultimately what's the harm?
No, there's no harm in it, but those players are lazy.
Well, now that we've generalized a whole group of players, who else can we generalize, Dave?
Well.
Oh, no, I'm not doing that one on that segue. I'll let you take something.
Gladly. Going over and making poignant points there. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission acknowledged that GameStop Corporate announced today. Oh, let's see. Oh, that's right. On June 22nd, 2021, GameStop Corporation, the company, announced it has completed its previously announced at-the-market equality offering program, the ATM program. Ha 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 ha! I see what you did there. The company ultimately sold, Butter, how many shares of its common stock there?
5 million shares.
Of its common stock of the ATM program, and generated an aggregate gross proceeds before commissions and offering expenses of approximately, how much is that, Boater? What's that number of profit?
1,126,000,000. And I knew that without looking because I didn't have it written down, but that was something I noticed too.
So,
hey, cool. Thank you, Reddit, for boosting our stock price. We're going to get some liquid capital out of that and maybe make the company better, but honestly, we'll just give bonuses to the C-suite executives. I mean, we're going to make the company better.
GameStop, congratulations on playing the stock market game and playing it so well that you passed go and you collect $1 billion. Very interesting to see that GameStop corporate itself, which has in the media and everyone else had a tumultuous relationship with, I mean, who doesn't like to poop on GameStop? Because it's easy. But bravo for them corporate-wise to be able to make the squeeze work for them and turn it into breakfast.
Yeah. Let's see. Hey, let's follow up on another one. We talked 2 weeks ago about Cyberpunk 2077 getting listed, or was that just last week where it was listed?
Last week it was listed and then taken down
immediately delisted. And yesterday, I want to say, it was relisted again on the PlayStation Store for digital purchase and download, including on the PS4. Now, CD Projekt Red hasn't actually made substantial changes to the game, as like how stable it is and stuff. They've done some patches, but for the most part, it still runs like ass. So when you go to the Cyberpunk 2077 page on the store, it says, before any game description, before any price, anything like that, the first thing you see reading left to right, important notice, users continue to experience performance issues with this game. Purchase for use on PS4 systems is not recommended. For the best Cyberpunk experience on PlayStation, play on PS4 Pro and PS5 systems. So we'll sell it to you, but we're going to tell you it's garbage so you can't return it.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Yeah,
and now you're no longer liable.
They've got their refund program for games that are defective, but I guess by like putting that in there, they're like, no, you knew. Also, it was all over the news. Like, come on. But it was right there that you're going to have problems playing this on a base PS4, so you cannot get a refund from us because we told you. Which still feels a little scummy. Ultimately, I still blame CD Projekt Red for even trying to put it out on the previous generation of consoles. It should have been A, either PC only, or B, PC, Xbox Series, and PS5. It shouldn't have been on those consoles. They did it to get a lot of money, and it is absolute garbage. Both how it plays and their attitude towards it.
I'm going to play it on my PS5. It was part of one of the reasons I didn't get it for my PS4 at all was it's clearly not designed for the current gen at the time. So they're just trying to say, don't be stupid.
Yeah, basically. I might get it for PC. Number one, I'm gonna wait for the price to come down because all of this hullabaloo aside, it's just generally not reviewed to be a great game. Like it has a lot of ideas and stuff, but it doesn't appropriately follow up on plot threads and such. So I'll wait
So
for
it's
the
a
price to
Citadel
come
game.
down. Yeah. I also am going to wait until I can get a better graphics card, which is going to count on availability and my budget. Which, speaking of graphics card availability, in China, they have been cracking down on cryptocurrency mining. In fact, some of the crackdowns, like some of the provinces that are cutting off people that, raiding suspected crypto miners and stuff like that, their measures have actually resulted in a decrease in the price of graphics cards in China. In May, I'm gonna say this was probably like early May. An Asus RTX 3060 had gone for 13,499 yuan, or just over $2,000 in US. Now the same card would go for 4,699 yuan, or about 725 US dollars, because it's getting harder to safely mine crypto there, so there's not as much demand for cards. All these people have cards and need to sell them off. So it's also dropping uh, crypto value across the board because not as many people in China are able to mine and use crypto. I will say, as
They
someone
are
with a Coinbase wallet, back in February, I had roughly $200 in various crypto, and now it's down to 75.
they are 18.47 percent of the world's population in that country. Not to say all of them are doing cryptocurrency, but if an entire country that holds 20% of the world's population goes, we're not doing that anymore. Well, you aren't. Don't do it.
I believe roughly 60% of crypto mining was being done in China. So as China does crack down on it, as the state cracks down on it, that is a big slice of the pie that is getting pared down. And it's not exactly like a zero sum kind of thing. What is crypto mining? Um, the very short version is that cryptocurrency exists and it verifies itself and it authentically says this is this coin, and how it is authenticated by computers doing math. Um, and that math is most easily done by some other piece of hardware, but second most easily done by GPUs, or graphics cards, which is part of the reason that it is very hard to get a graphics card for your PC, and it is impacting manufacturing of consoles and such as well, because graphics chips are getting snapped up for crypto mining. Basically, by the benefit of authenticating like that, if I have a bank of graphics cards that are all doing the math, they are verifying transactions, they are authenticating on the network, and you earn that cryptocurrency as you're doing it. It is so much more complicated than that, but more or less it's, hi, I'm going to use like 5% of the world's available energy and make some money. Crypto's bad.
Remember when you talk about economics in high school and they say that, this has an agreed upon value. And for example, in Fallout, agreed upon value of things is or valuable items are bottle caps. That's what they use. Cryptocurrency is a universally understood set of code that represents an item. So as opposed to being a bottle cap or a bill, because God knows I don't have any bills, I got this marker. Is basically, it is decided that it has worth and it is traded heavily, but because it doesn't have any base in any country, any political
There
party
is
or
no
things like
authority
that.
like the Federal Reserve looking over the currency.
Yes.
It is entirely self-contained and decentralized in its own thing. Depending on which cryptocurrency, again, there's a ton. Yeah, it has value because people say it has value. The price goes up when, the value of the currency goes up the more people that are using it, and with less people in China able to gain access to it and able to use it, the value of cryptocurrencies are generally falling. Like anything, if we agree upon it having value, it has value because currency is a social construct, and this is just a very energy wasteful form of currency.
So those cards that were purchased just for crypto mining in China or other countries that are now going to have a tougher time accessing it or just now not accessing it at all. Do you foresee a boom of online sales of used cards but still cards?
I think it's possible. I don't think necessarily that like on eBay here or whatever we're gonna find a lot of used cards from Chinese ex crypto miners. But what might happen is that the demand for new cards in China may be depressed, opening up more stock to go elsewhere in the world. That said, there are still plenty of people in other parts of the world that still engage in crypto mining. Various currencies, Ethereum specifically, has been saying that they're going to go to a less energy intensive proof of stake versus proof of work or something like that. Again, I don't know super well, and I'm neither a financial advisor nor a tech bro, um, but hopefully various measures will prove to free up hardware and energy use because as it is unsustainable and has been for a few years now. Dave, through segues, I actually managed to go through all my topics, so why don't you take it away?
Sure. I'm mad at you people. Incredibly mad at all of you out there. Because I saw a headline and I almost literally just out of rage pulled a Primeape and just dropped dead. The CEO of Activision Blizzard, Bobby Kotick, as we remember, was under fire for his immense paycheck that he'd been receiving. And the shareholders wanted to investigate in it.
And they didn't do jack squat about it.
Yep. They met, they voted, and Bobby's keeping his money. You stupid, stupid, stupid bastards.
Like what like how much? Like 20 billion or something? I don't know.
So, they did slash his base salary immensely.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
His salary.
But they're keeping.
Okay, that is actually a decent amount with caveats from 1.75 million down to 850,000
base salary, and
Base
then there's
salary.
many, many millions of dollars worth of incentives attached to his
CEOs like
contract
him make their money
that
on
he
bonuses
is
and
getting.
incentives, yeah. Not the
Um,
salary.
and this all stems from the fact that some people out there are big fans of Activision Blizzard games and played them a lot during the pandemic and then got their friends to play them during the pandemic and then their stock portfolio went. I still blame you. It's not my fault.
Dave, you just cocked that gun and then put it back. You yelled at someone about that earlier.
Yeah, this isn't the that's not the hammer. Or this is the physical hammer but not the firing pin itself.
Oh, okay. That's fine
But
then.
nice try, Boater. But yeah, Bobby Kotick still collecting an immensely large paycheck, and nobody should be happy about it, except if you have Activision Blizzard stock, in which case you fucker. But
We don't need super rich CEOs. Hey, speaking of super rich CEOs, if you have Amazon Prime, make sure you use your free Prime subscription here because Jeff Bezos doesn't need that money. Happy Prime Day.
by using your Prime subscription or any level subscription, you can unlock the Insane Games TV Mike Lips emote. You can sass people across the nation. You can become an assassin of sorts. Because if you have the Twitch app enabled on your devices, you can then use that as an emoji keyboard for many other devices and what have you. For fun.
Pandemic is a new one, says more like Rick and Mortis. Yeah, I hadn't heard that before either. That's why I like stared at you, bewildered and impressed for about 5 seconds. To be fair, I look at you bewildered and impressed a lot of the time, so you probably missed it.
Bewildering, depressing as it may be, streaming games that have really good soundtracks could and can lead you to a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy was a game announced at E3, and if we know anything about the films, The Guardians of the Galaxy, they have, in my opinion alone, some of the best soundtracks of films in the last 10 years.
Definitely
I
up there.
really
Yep.
like them. I buy all the soundtracks and I really enjoy them. The games are going to be no different, featuring many hits, as you heard in the previews and things like that.
And really well integrated into gameplay, not just like background, but like you can pick a track to get your team hyped up.
Yes.
But if you pick the wrong one, only Star-Lord's going to get hyped up because he's that anyway, and everyone else is like, really, Rick Astley again?
When you design a game, part of the good game design is the atmosphere, and 100% of it is, do you have music? Because if you have music, people had better be able to either get with it or not hear it and have it be a part of the visual experience.
Mm-hmm.
Choice is yours. It's a tricky balance, but streaming the Guardian of the Galaxy game could be a problem because a lot of licensed songs are going to be on that. They did announce, however, the company making it and the different companies around it, that they are going to be putting a streamer mode inside of the game itself, allowing the folks to stream the game without having worry of licensed music popping up. It will keep the ambient music and the stuff that's licensed exclusively to the game that DMCA wouldn't necessarily peg you for, but instead of having to do, and I don't know how many of you guys out there, or Boater, if you've ever had this, but like before, anytime I streamed MLB The Show, Madden, Burnout, Paradise, and so many of the games, I had to go into the menu and unselect every single song
Oh, wow, yeah.
to make sure that they didn't just start playing during a loading screen or in between things. And in some cases, just like MLB, I just turn off the commentator edition because sometimes they do put licensed music
Oh,
in
right
it.
in the commentating track. Ah,
Um,
gross. That's
so
unfortunate.
I'm very impressed with that, and I'm glad that the Guardians of the Galaxy game will make the excellent tunes associated with it available, but not force us to have to jump through hoops to make sure that that experience is shareable.
This does two things. Number one, very few people are actually going to play the game and worry about whether it has streaming, soundtrack, whatever. So generally it hasn't been prioritized. Yes, this kind of thing has existed for a while, but I'm glad that they're going with this. Number two, an interesting thing with streaming games is that there's the argument, although somewhat false, the data doesn't necessarily back it up. There's the argument that the majority of people who watch a streamer play a game do not go and get the game. And otherwise would have. So people watching a stream, oh, well, it steals sales, whatever. By doing this, people will know with Guardians of the Galaxy that there is music that is special and cool that they are not getting while watching the game being streamed. And so it's like, hey, I really enjoyed watching that game be played. I think I'm going to get it for myself so I can see about like using the actual, like hearing the actual music when I play it. Like that's potentially an unintentional side effect, but still cool.
Just posted that question for folks to see what they think.
Did watching a game get streamed stop you from buying a game? I will say, not necessarily streamed, but a playthrough on YouTube. We watched Game Grumps playing Danganronpa, and I don't think that I would play that on my own because as much as I enjoyed watching the game, I enjoyed their commentary on it, and it's kind of inextricable. That said, I mentioned Doki Doki Literature Club before. They started playing DDLC, and I was like, this looks really cool. I downloaded it. I bought it because I saw them playing it and played through the game so I could get ahead of them and see what was coming. So, bit of both. Could go either way.
I know for a fact that a lot of the games that I'm unsure about, I go immediately to Twitch and I watch usually a smaller streamer, and then I try to get their opinion on the game. How long have you been streaming it? What do you think? Things like that. Nothing tipped me into the scales of buying a game more than Onimusha Warlords, which I definitely have to play again sometime because I really liked the game when it first came out on the PlayStation 2. Me and my friends were in the basement all jamming on it. And then when I watched a particular streamer play it, I got that nostalgic feeling and I got excited for it. And then I was chatting with them and they were talking about how much fun they were having and the controls were updated and all these things. And it absolutely cemented it for me. So I haven't personally felt that watching a game stream to stop me from purchasing it. It has definitely delayed me from going out and getting it like that day. But it has, in some cases, caused me to upgrade whichever copy of a game I was getting because of it. Demon Dragon saying, I really only watch Let's Plays, but most of them I watch because I'm not planning on purchasing. Although there are some that after I watch, I want to go get it to see if it's a different ending that I can get.
Yeah, there has been 1 or 2 times where Demon Dragon has been like, hey, so-and-so or Jacksepticeye or Game Grumps is playing this now. Do you want to watch? I'm like, I'm planning on playing that game on my own, so I don't want to watch them play. So it's like the other way around. Sorry, I'm not going to watch you because I plan to play that game and I don't want to get spoiled on Soma or whatever.
So
Go ahead.
I have a story here for the end of the program.
Okay.
Because it's pretty tinfoil hatty, is what it is.
Okay, I have a recommendation for a YouTube series. Do you want me to wrap up with that?
Yes.
Or do you want to?
Why don't you go? Because this one's probably not going to take that long, just because it is. It's pretty tinfoil hatty. Just as a heads up for everybody.
We're potentially ending on tinfoil hatty. I kind of like that. We do have a bit more time. I know we started a little bit late, but really quick, I do want to recommend a series that I am currently watching. It originally aired last June, I want to say, and I say aired, but this was a Twitch stream. People went to the Twitch channel of Wayne Radio TV, and I see you appending TV on the end of your name, and I'm sure you did it first, but I still see you when I'm watching you. And they tuned into a stream titled Half-Life VR, but the AI is self-aware. And so it's set up as though he is Gordon Freeman and role-playing through the game, but some of the other AI have broken out of their usual roles and are joining him and are sometimes aware that they're in a game and are acting very strange. Now, what it actually was, and the best way to describe it, is that it was an improv machinima series. Because, first off, you can't play the original Half-Life 1 with a VR headset. So it was using Gary's mod, but they had behind-the-scenes people, they had other people playing these other AI characters, and they would go in with the barest idea of, hey, we know how the game progresses, this is the story we're going to tell within that, go. And they have come up, like, I have been consistently laughing as I've been watching it the past few days. I'm going to go into the final act tomorrow and watching that. It was streamed, I think, over 4 different days of like 3 or 4 hour streams. And you can watch it now on YouTube, where they've cut it down to like taking out the points where they, broke character, taking out a bunch of like the dead space in between. You can watch it on YouTube that are about like 9 half-hour episodes. And it has just been very, very enjoyable to watch. So again, that is Half-Life VR, but the AI is self-aware, by Wayne Radio TV. It's, I think, one of my favorite gags that happened so far. All the AI characters have been vaguely homicidal and killing all the other NPCs they come across. And one is, Dave, may I have one of those guns, actually?
Yes.
One comes across someone and is like, hey, I know this guy. He owes me $3. And the player character's like, whoa, you gonna kill him just because? I thought you said you were friends. You're gonna kill him over $3? It's like, no, you're right. Then another character, then he gets blown away off screen. The guy looks to the left and another character was like, he owed me $5. And it just caught me so off guard. I've really been enjoying that. That is a series recommendation for me. Dave, to what do I owe tinfoil hattery?
All right, first of all, everyone make sure your shades are drawn for this one. Make sure your web-enabled devices are the ones you can trust. Make sure your microwave is not in the room, okay? Microwave can't hear this one. All right, I put in here in chat a blog on PlayStation about a cinematic survival sim called Abandoned.
I know about this one.
Now, the trailer itself looks very much walking sim, very interesting. Going on things like that. I did get Mr. Wet roped into this yesterday before behind the counter. We were chatting a little bit about it, and he thought that this tinfoil hat rumor here that I haven't yet divulged to you folks could have a little bit of credence. You heard it here first. Host of Wetcher Wednesday, Mike Batista, buying into this, and here we go. The game itself is titled Abandoned. It's going to be a cinematic playthrough survival horror, and it's made by a studio called Blue Box. I know what you're thinking. All above board. Am I right? Wrong! Because is Blue Box Studios and Abandoned a front for our Lord and Savior Hideo Kojima and his long-lost love, Silent Hill? Could it be? Well, there have been many, many folks on the interwebs that have spent many, many, many tireless nights looking up every single possible plot point connecting this, including, but not limited to, a tweet Hideo Kojima put out recently that mentioned the words Silent and Hill. Aha! We also have oh God. Okay. So
We haven't rehearsed this. I just also knew about this.
no, this is once again tinfoil hats at the ready.
I tried to put this
Because
on, but I didn't like the restricted. This is the closest I have. It's a chain.
people found a lot of a lot of information, and let's back it up to another meme-worthy person to rope into this whole thing. Get out your string and your pins, because who better to talk about Kojima? Because if you ask Kojima, he's just going to give you the emphatic but you go straight to Mr. World Premiere himself, Jeff Keighley, because he is both friends with Hideo Kojima and also connected to games journalism in many ways, and is trusted to give out information. Except
like a
this
poor
time,
idea.
he at first kind of went, "Oh, I'm not allowed to talk about it,"
which is I'm sorry.
So he just took a box pop and went and stoked that fire. Then he confirmed that he'd been in talks with Blue Box Studios and was very excited for Abandoned. Couldn't look forward to it, all these things. I mean, he talks to Hideo Kojima all the time. One and the same. That's true. Also, the
Sorry,
tweets.
I haven't been listening to the last 10 seconds. I was doing the Eddie Izzard confirm then deny repeatedly.
The tweets from the studio have been sourced to Sweden, a country that is not Japan, which makes you think, but wait, Kojima lives in Japan. He's constantly there doing things, but you would be wrong, in so much as when Kojima was teasing both Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and PT, he created 7780 Studio, and the other one for Metal Gear Solid 5 was a Swedish studio, and he even got a location there. But wait, there's more.
Yeah, like we take it for granted now that PT was like a sneak trailer for Silent Hill, but at the time when PT was announced, it was, yeah, this little like Swedish studio, whatever, and there was no whisper of Kojima in it, whatever. There was no whisper of anything, and then just at the end, it's like Silent Hill, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" And now that's coming to its logical conclusion.
Now, folks, I don't know that you've seen the PlayStation Studios opening, but I'm going to drop it here in chat for you because this is important.
What?
This is big. This is huge.
What?
I'll play it
Okay.
for Boater. I'll play it for Boater here.
Okay.
But look, watching, seeing.
Yep.
Hmm?
Yep. God of War. Yep. Sackboy. Okay.
Oh, did you see it? Oh, there it was.
Dave.
Wait. We're gonna watch it back. You folks at home, start again. Start again. Here we go. Nathan Drake. There's the character from that game and this game. And oh, there's the other guy. And there they are. Oh, boy. And bam!
Yes, it says
Right
PlayStation
during the
Studios.
PlayStation startup logo, it's a blue box! Ha ha!
Oh my
We
God.
have you now, folks. Before it turns white, it's a blue box. So, this further proving that because Kojima's currently a PlayStation studio and all of his work, Boder must be working with the silencers now. I see, trying to get me. Unfortunately, that ghost is currently in run mode and not in attack mode.
Oh no, that's true.
Um,
Go be free! Oh God.
Blue Box Studios, their YouTube banner is a bunch of pause for effect hills. Confirmed. Blue Box Game Studios logo is basically the PlayStation Studios logo with the colors inverted. Have you there? But wait.
Oh, there's not enough tinfoil for this.
The last couple of days, Hideo Kojima was pictured, as he does often, taking pictures of various media that he is taking in and things like that. And what's in this picture that he posted? What could it be here? Nothing but a blue box.
Oh my God.
We see you, Kojima. Yes.
The thing is, this is all entirely plausible.
That's
I
the-
could see this being done by a madman, and Kojima is a madman.
So, as much as I am tinfoil hatting a lot of this, folks, this is the stuff that Kojima does. This is his bread and butter.
Exactly.
He wakes up to do this. Also, in the abandoned trailer at the 49-second mark, the letters P and the letter, you guessed it, T, are covered by the trees. We're on to you.
It's all entirely plausible. It is. Like, you read this and you're like, you're nuts. Stop it. You're grasping at straws because you want Silent Hill. It's not going to happen because the publisher would rather sell pachinko machines and had a really bad divorce with Kojima. And that's what logic says. But Kojima cares not for your logic.
But what he does care for is other clever clues. We see you, Kojima. Because the Twitter handle for Blue Box Game Studios is
Fuck me.
a Death Stranding reference. Because it is, in fact, at BB Game Studios, a reference to the popular main character of Death Stranding, BB itself. We're on to you. But
That's entirely plausible.
Blue Box Game Studios revealed
Or only just on the other side of implausible. Only just.
Hassan Karaman, the head of Blue Box Studios. Hassan Karaman. Hold on. You know what? I'll do this with the blue marker because we're on to you. Hassan. And then, what's the last name?
Karaman? Was that?
Hideo Kojima! Very clever, sir! We're on to you, but wait, this isn't even scratching the surface of all these. For the game itself that Blue Box Studios is discussing is called Abandoned. And what 'twas abandoned, in fact, spurned from the PlayStation community? PT and Silent Hills!
Okay.
But wait, just like so many Ronco products,
I'm crying.
there's more. Blue Box Game Studios appears to have been founded in 2015, exactly 1 year after the release of PT, and right around the time Kojima was going through his breakup with Konami.
Okay. So hold on, is the theory that he founded Blue Box Studios and secretly bought the Silent Hill reference, fucked off to do another game, and is now like, all right, cool, we'll keep doing this now?
Well, Blue Box could have originally been the code name he used for Silent Hills, the game that was going to be coming out, starring
Right.
Norman Reedus sans the fetus. But this time, he's using it because it's his. Blue Box Game Studios' only other game named The Whisperer was completed by another studio, and that studio's icon is a
No.
black handprint, just like Death Stranding. One of their cancelled games was named Lost Tapes. For those of you that didn't play the wetness that was half of Metal Gear Solid 5, that's in Metal Gear Solid 5!
Were this about anyone else, this would just be Charlie Day on the fucking board, and you would discount it. But with Kojima, it's all individually possible. It takes a madman to have lain this many hints
I'll
and to
pull
have not tipped your hand by now.
I'll pull 3 more because your minds have been blown. I can
am
feel
trying.
it. Sam, in the new Death Stranding Director's Cut trailer, uses a backpack with a Netherlands logo. Blue Box Studios is supposedly based in the Netherlands. We see you, Kojima.
Did you call him Skojima?
Most of the tweets made by Blue Box are at strange local hours, around 3 a.m. The studio is claimed to be located in the Netherlands. Kojima is located in Japan, which is 7 hours ahead. We see you, Kojima.
Oh my god.
But the biggest of all, Hideo, translated from Japanese to Turkish, means Karaman, which is the last name of Hassan Karaman, the head of Blue Box Studios. Both of their names mean hero in their respective languages. And there are so many more, and yet more come out each day. And so, my comrades and brethren, keep this list safe. Don't let your microwave see this list. We're watching you. We're always
I
watching.
hate it, and I love it.
The worst part about this whole thing, once again, is as fun as it is to lampoon this thing, this is exactly what Kojima does. This is literally his calling card to a T. If this was a murder case, this would be the breadcrumb trail leading you to him, where he finally looks up and goes, "Took you long enough."
He's the Riddler. Except the Riddler wishes he could lay stuff as thick as this.
I'll keep an ear to the ground about these things. When Abandoned is released, you know what? If it's going to be just a trailer, let's play it here on Nerd Glasses.
Oh, yeah.
I'll bring in my PS5 and we'll play it together, and I'll make sure definitely not to bring tinfoil hats for us at all.
I might bring my own.
But you know what, Boater? All of this talk of Kojima has unfortunately bumped our discussion about Death Stranding to another week, so we'll have to validate
Yeah.
your parking.
Yeah, we had it in here as like a secondary part of that interview. Just unfortunately couldn't follow up on that. So
Can't confirm it. No, he's leaving. Okay.
see you next week, dude.
So, Boater, what's going on the Citadel?
Well, coming up on the Citadel, of course, I opened with a Prince of Persia joke, and that is what we're going to be playing. In fact, I was very proud of myself because I finally made an Anakin Padme meme. We're going to play Prince of Persia. Sands of Time, right? Sands
Right.
of Time, right?
Right?
No, we are going to be playing the 2008 reboot of Prince of Persia that got some somewhat negative reaction because it wasn't a Sands of Time game. But other than that, I think plays quite well. And I kind of wish it had gotten a sequel, but it got just bad enough reaction to not And boy, I feel like that's the main criteria for getting on the Citadel is good enough for a sequel. Didn't get one because people complained.
Now, did you know I have a long history with Prince of Persia?
I did not.
Do we have a moment for me to do another?
By all means, please do.
I get a headache when I think of Prince of Persia, almost immediately, and what echoes through my mind is that phrase. Wait, that's not how it went. Because yonder time and ago, I worked for the Boy Scouts of America, and I tented with a very good friend of mine, Joe Mastro from Geek for All, where he proceeded to beat every single Prince of Persia game that was out at the time in a row and play them
So
to
like
completion.
everyone, like going back to the original 2D ones, or just talking? Okay.
All the modern console
Okay,
ones
okay.
on his PlayStation 2.
Okay.
Even going so far as to, after a whole week, and he'd finally beaten the games, we went to town, and we went to the Wilton Mall, where he bought the third one. Because, God damn it! There was no justice to be had! Ah!
So what you're saying is I should have invited Joe up for this.
You can absolutely anytime invite Joe to play Prince of Persia because he's very good at them. So I do know the plot lines quite well. But 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Anytime we were in the tent, it was either Dragon Ball Z Budokai, which was fun because Joe's good at those games. I'm not good at those games, and I play as Krillin. But Prince of Persia, and then more Prince of Persia, and then just for a change, the Persian Prince, and sands of some sort of chromatic order.
Have
But
you seen the movie?
yeah, actually, I did go see that in theaters because me likey Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
So, although now under today's scope, me not so fan of Jake Gyllenhaal as the Prince of Persia, but at the time. And in its era,
Yeah.
like so many things in its time, it was a product of its time, and yet nowadays there are so many more talented actors that fit that profile perfectly.
Yeah. Anyway, folks.
Sands of a prismatic persuasion.
Prince of Persia 2008 coming up on the Citadel after this. We're going to go offline. In under 5 minutes, we will be back on with a 10-minute countdown for the Citadel, and I will see you on the other side of that. Until then, thank you all so much for watching the Nerd Glasses podcast. I feel like this has been a really great episode. It always is, but we didn't bungle any of our segues, and that always makes it a really special night. If you want to see us actually bungle some segues, then it'll probably happen next week. So make sure that you're following right here at Insane Games TV, and you come back at 7 o'clock Eastern every Tuesday for the Nerd Glasses podcast. In the meantime, I've been Boater.
I've been Dave Mann.
And we will see you next week. Bye, everybody!